Hi everyone, again my name is Dr. Kirk Prine, and the series that we're doing around mindset is in your body, not just in your brain. One of the many thousands of teachers, and I keep mentioning them in the videos because I think it's good to honor the connections and the wisdom from the sources at which they have inspired you. It helps feed that healing of the web of life, I believe. So anyway, someone who I heard some years ago and had a nice conference call actually before we did a retreat was Malidoma Somé. He's an African shaman of the Dagara tribe, and Malidoma, I was consulting with him about doing a ritual for the community that I was bringing together for healing for that weekend, and Malidoma was quite funny at times, but what he said was simply, if a ritual doesn't make you a bit uncomfortable, then you're probably not really invested in the ritual. So this idea of ritual is one of the tools that we use in our Body Story Life coaching. And ritual can be almost anything, and it can be for you in your everyday life, both as a practitioner, a client, or just in your personal healing journey. I mean, I think of the ritual that got me through to start this year in the context of the election was that I love living in San Francisco, and on January 20th, a couple thousand of us got together and got onto the Golden Gate Bridge, and we were all invited to wear purple and to hold hands across the bridge. So we're holding hands, we're all wearing purple, and just silence basically, just making that connection. And it was just this kind of artistic way of saying, I'm a part of the loving resistance. It says no to anything that is about hate or inequality or injustice. And so this cloth, which actually came from Bali and from our teacher Shankari, the alchemist, when we were working with her in Bali, it has many associations for me. So every time I see this cloth, I think of being at the Golden Gate Bridge, holding hands with 2,000 people on that glorious day of saying, united, we're stronger for love. And I think of all the rituals that have ever been done where this cloth has been a part of those rituals for me. Ritual. If ritual's not a little bit uncomfortable, it's probably not something you're very invested in. So ritual is a great way to engage the body in some physical action to set an intention. So as a Body Story life coach, we use ritual along with, we've talked about breath, movement, and sound. We've talked about some of the detoxification processes that may happen through, Gestalt healing processes, some Aikido stuff, all kinds of tools that we use, some of which I've created, some which have been out there for millennia practically, that we are drawing upon ancient wisdom. But those rituals are there to get you into your vulnerability so you can reclaim or reactivate your power. So much of, we talked about in one of our last videos, is that feeling hopeless or powerless, alone or unsafe, those are the conditions for dis-ease in our lives. They're the conditions that deactivate us, that kind of get us feeling like you know, we just want to pull the covers over our head. You know, those kinds of things are happening a lot in our culture right now. And really pulling out, oh, how can I be powerful? Ritual allows you to get vulnerable so you can be in your power. You know, one of our clients some years ago talked about being in relationship with a parent who he felt like he was walking on eggshells. So one of the rituals that we invited him just kind of to tailor make was not some ancient ritual from the distant past, but simply to take a bunch of eggshells and save them all up, take them outside, and when he was ready to go stomp on all these eggshells and break them up so that he could release some of the feelings that he had that were blocking him, that kept him from being in his boldness, of really shining bright, of really being powerful, because he was connected and that he didn't have to do it all alone. So ritual, using ritual engages the body with intention. And I'll tell you one last story and then we'll go. But another ritual that we often have done is gather earth from all around the world and have our clients bring them in and put them in a bowl, and we have some water, and so we'll offer into the earth something that we no longer want to carry, and then we'll put our hands in the water and we'll cleanse our hands. While cleansing them, you know, ask the water to actually embolden us to receive whatever it is that's our heart's desires. And one time, I got it totally, as many of you have hung out with me, I kind of altered when I'm doing ritual, and I actually went to the water before I went to the earth, and I modeled for everybody, oh, well, you deposit in the water anything you don't want to carry, and then, oh, you draw from the earth anything that you want to receive. So simple kind of earth and water ritual. Many people have used those kinds of rituals throughout all generations. Well, because I had done it backwards, as you can see, this has our mud in it, and it has some water in it, and that's what it looked like, was all this water kept getting poured into this earth. And one man came up to the circle to put his hands into the water, and he started to cry. And he said, well, you know, as a gay boy growing up, I got called every kind of name imaginable, sissy, and you know, all kinds of things. And he said, today I'm putting my hands in this water, in this earth, and I got called names because I love to make mud pies. So here he was putting his hands in the water, and there's so many men had already gone before him, or part of the circle, and so it was all muddy, and so there was all this kind of muddiness there for him to play and make mud pies. That was a really powerful ritual that kind of serendipitously happened because I did it the wrong way. So for all of us who are also attached to doing it right, you know, Spirit's not calling us to move out and think that we have to do everything right. The key is, what's the intention behind what you're doing that will create the magic, the healing, the freedom, the muddy hand that heals you. So just like the beginning story, you know, the vulnerability is what allowed this brother, in the witness of others, to feel healed. he was able to make mud pies that day and be proud of it. So hope this has both entertained you and given you some insight into the thought of using ritual in your practice to engage the body so you can clear out what you don't need to carry and you can awaken that which you desire. Namaste.